Hello, Pisces. This is what you can do for your mental health for the week of the 7th through the 13th. These are in no particular order. Let's start with King of Cups. Kings are fathers. They talk about leadership. They talk about nurturing in a fatherly way through discipline. The King of Cups, he's got his emotions in balance, and he's taken control over them. He also sometimes talks about diplomacy, but to me this is more about you taking control of your emotions, because we have the Eight of Swords, the Six of Wands, and the Page of Swords. So the Eight of Swords is talking about feeling trapped and blindfolded by an imbalance of thinking. So you're feeling like you couldn't get out of this situation and it was affecting your emotions negatively, but you've had this personal victory over it. You've been able to overcome this feeling of being trapped, of being blindsided by this imbalance in your thinking and how it affects your emotions. The page talks about learning. It can talk about getting a message from others or a message from something that you are studying and learning, and that helps you sort of wrap these thoughts that are out of balance, that are cutting you, that are harming you, that are keeping you bound and blinded, keeping you imprisoned. And this talks about when you're doing that studying, that learning, and you're understanding what's going on with your thinking and your emotions and how those two affect each other, you're able to sort of wrap up those negative thoughts so that they can't cut you anymore. You're able to heal them. And that's your personal victory. And you may need to, when the King of Cups talks about diplomacy, it may be yourself you need to be diplomatic with. You may need to say, okay, I messed up in the past, or okay, I was beating myself up over these things that I don't really need to beat myself up over, and I'm just going to let them go. That could be the diplomacy that you need, is to give yourself breathing room, to give yourself space. Okay? We are all humans. We are all works in progress. We are all learning on this plane. We are here to experience life and to understand it. Okay? You don't need to beat yourself up. You don't need to be harsh on yourself. There are plenty of things and people in this world that will be harsh on you. What you need to do is just focus on understanding why things are happening, why you think the way you think, and how that affects your feelings, and how that continues to affect your thoughts in a cycle. One affects the other over and over, right? But you can break the cycle, or you can make changes and adjustments, and then the cycle will change. It will improve. So we have Two of Swords, and this talks about being at a crossroads. And you see this cat is also blinded. This cat is really struggling to find the way. It's going within with a hermit to seek that inner guidance on which path to choose, which path is right for me. This hermit has the light from their higher guidance, from their soul, guiding them towards the path that they need to be on. They have the wolf, which talks about their loyalty to themselves, to that higher guidance, and continuing on that path. Then we have Seven of Swords, clarified by Ace of Swords, and Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Now, the Ace of Swords, this can talk about a lack of direction, a lack of clarity, being impatient, It can talk about an ending and a delay. And the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Oh, how did I not? I didn't look that one up. Sorry, I'm not the best at reversals yet. So I will look at that very quickly. The Wheel of Fortune in the upright, it talks about change. So when you're resisting this change and you're not allowing it to happen because you're unclear and you're not making this decision, this can be causing chaos. It can be causing difficulty if you're not letting go and you're not breaking that negative cycle. You have 3 cards that are talking about needing to make a decision here and going within to get inner guidance. This card, this can talk about overwork due to anxiety and fear that you're not going to have enough finances. And that could be what you're trying to make this decision on, or what you're not changing, what you're not moving forwards with. And you need to go within and get that guidance. This can also talk about somebody who is a workplace gossip affecting you negatively. Somebody who is doing something they shouldn't be at work. Otherwise, 7 of Swords can talk about thieves. It can talk about people hacking, people just doing stuff they shouldn't be. In regards to work, it's a card related to work and your thinking around work and how that's affecting your thinking and the rest of your life. And it's causing you this indecision and this lack of clarity and this stagnancy. You're not moving forwards. You need to let go and break that cycle and make that change. You need to make the decision towards a peaceful path, towards the path that is right for you. Then we have the 3 of Pentacles. 3 of Pentacles talks about building up your skill set. It talks about what you're good at. It talks about really putting that into practice and implementing solutions as you're learning, as you're going along. Then for clarifiers, we have the Sun in reverse, the Hangman in reverse, and the Lady. So the Lady is talking about nurturing your ideas. You're lacking this clarity, and maybe even you're self-sabotaging. You could even be overly optimistic about what you're good at, or about these solutions that you're trying to implement as you're learning along the way. This can also, it can talk about that, but to me this is more about a lack of clarity in how to nurture your abundance, how to nurture your idea to move forwards, the solution that you're implementing. The Hangman in reverse, it also talks about indecision. And it can talk about lacking self-awareness or being delusional and stalling. To me, this is about, because we have the Sun and the Hangman both in reverse, this could be about not fully understanding the situation in regards to your skill set and what you're trying to implement solution-wise towards this idea that you're trying to fully recognize. It could be that there's some piece that you're missing, some piece of self-awareness that you're missing, and you're being overly optimistic when you're making this decision. And I don't know if this is in regards to the work decision or not, but you need to get that clarity. You need to get that that self-awareness. And then we have, there's a lot of clarifiers. We have the Knight of Swords in reverse and the Five of Swords in reverse. The Knight of Swords in reverse, he can talk about burnout, being unfocused, disorganized, and impulsive. And that's part of what leads him to his burnout. The Five of Swords in reverse, this is talking about an understanding. It's talking about working through the pain, through the loss, through any defeats, to get your renewal and your resolution. And we have Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords, this is the ending of a cycle and the beginning of a new cycle in regards to your thinking. And you see the wand here. The wand represents the total self in terms of the higher soul, combined with the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. And so these swords that were hurting you, that were stabbing you in the back, that were out of balance, they were breaking your soul. They were breaking your mind. They were harming you. They knocked your helmet right off you. They knocked your shield out of your hand. And being this impulsive and disorganized, being this burnt out, this is what's bringing about the end of the cycle. As you're working through these things, it's bringing about the end of the cycle, and it's bringing about a better cycle for you. Because we have Page of Pentacles, Fairy Light, Hierophant, and Four of Swords. So really thinking about these negative things, resting, contemplating, getting more clarity on them, maybe even getting advice from somebody else, like a therapist or somebody who's religious, somebody who has more education, more knowledge than you on these topics that you need help dealing with. This can also talk about ritual and tradition. So the traditions or the rituals or habits that you practice could have led you to being impulsive and disorganized. So you might want to take another look at what your habits and routines are and put them into balance. With the fairy light here, you need to put them into balance so you're not stretched thin, you're not running all over the place, you're not having these issues of impulsivity. Really pay attention and think. You've got two cards about contemplating your health here, contemplating getting yourself into balance with your thinking and conquering that shadow side, those negative aspects, that negative thing that you don't, sometimes we don't want to acknowledge the negative aspects of ourselves, but we do need to face them. With that Hangman in reverse, where it could be talking about stalling, yes, but it could also be talking about lacking self-awareness, lacking clarity. So you really want to look at where you are unfocused and impulsive and how that leads to your burnout, how that leads to you being overly stressed and not in your own power, not in your own self. How is it affecting your ability to move forwards? I hope this is helpful to you. Have a great week. Bye.